morning everyone. Well, in the last class we discussed about natural, damp and forced vibrations and a special case of forced vibration, that is resonance, and the conditions which is required for the resonance. So in today's class we will learn about how the resonance will take place by understanding very simple and interesting experiments. So in that, first one is about the resonance in tuning fork. The first one is about the resonance in tuning fork. So to understand this, just we need two tuning fork of same frequency and the two sound boxes. Just those two sound boxes and their opening ends should face each other. So just to consider, this is the one sound box and so this is one more sound box. So their opening ends are facing each other. So now, as I told you already, we have taken the two tuning forks of same frequencies. So one tuning fork is kept on its sound box. So that is tuning fork A, and one more tuning fork is kept on its sound box. So that is the tuning fork B. So the frequency of tuning fork A and B are same. It means these two tuning forks are identical. So now these two tuning forks are mounted or kept on the respective sound boxes. So now first take the tuning fork A and struck on a rubber pad and keep it on its sound box. So now we will see that the tuning fork B is also started to vibrate with a larger amplitude and produces a louder sound. So the reason for is that when a tuning fork, vibrating tuning fork is kept on its sound box, it causes forced vibration in the air particles of that sound box. So due to the larger surface area of this sound box, these air particles they vibrate with a larger amplitude, and then these air particles are communicated with the sound box of the tuning fork B, and the air particles of this sound box are also started to vibrate with greater amplitude, and the frequency of these vibrating air column in this sound box is exactly equal to the frequency of tuning fork A. And since we know already the frequency of these air particles or air column in this sound box is same as that of the natural frequency of the tuning fork B. Thus, the tuning fork B is picks up these vibrations and started to vibrate with the larger amplitude under the resonance. Then you can hear very loud sound. So here these two sound boxes are helps in communicating with the air particles of their respective tuning fork, and the tuning fork B and tuning fork A, since their natural frequency is same, they vibrates under resonance. So this is how the resonance will take place in case of a tuning fork. And the second one is about the resonance in a pendulum. Resonance in pendulum. So to do this experiment, we need four simple pendulums. All the four simple pendulums are being suspended from the elastic support, that is P and Q. So PQ is the elastic support, and for this elastic support a pendulum A is also suspended. In total, 4 pendulums are suspended to this elastic support. So in that, the pendulum A and B are of same length. It means due to their same length, they have same natural frequencies. And the pendulum D is longer compared to the pendulum A or B. So due to its more length, its natural frequency is obviously less than pendulum A or B, because the frequency of a simple pendulum is inversely proportional to its length. And the pendulum C is shorter compared to all other pendulums, and so due to its shorter length, its frequency is obviously more compared to the pendulum A or B. So now when the pendulum A is made to vibrate normal to the elastic support, then we will observe that the pendulum initially the pendulum B is also started to vibrate with less amplitude, and ultimately it vibrates with an amplitude initially the pendulum A had. And so due to their equal lengths, the energy is shared between the pendulum A and B. So due to the sharing of energy between these two pendulums, once the amplitude of pendulum B becomes maximum, at that time the amplitude of pendulum A becomes minimum, and thereafter the amplitude of pendulum A becomes maximum and the amplitude of pendulum B becomes minimum. So this process will take place continuously. And the pendulum A and the pendulum B are in phase. A and B are in phase. So what do you mean by this? A and B are in phase means these two pendulums are reaching their extreme position on either side at the same time. So that's why we consider that pendulum A and pendulum B are in phase. So it means their extreme positions reaching by these two pendulums at the same time. And when it comes to the pendulum C and pendulum D, so due to their unequal lengths, they vibrate with less amplitude. So here you may ask the question, why the pendulum B is in phase with the pendulum A, why not the pendulum C and the pendulum D? So why? Because when we started to produce the vibration in the pendulum A, so it causes the forced vibration in all the 3 remaining pendulums, that is B, C and D. So due to the equal lengths of pendulum A and B, the energy is sharing between only these two pendulums due to their equal lengths. And once the amplitude of B becomes maximum, then its amplitude is minimum. Thereafter its amplitude is maximum, its amplitude is minimum. So that is because of sharing of energy between these two pendulums. And the C and D, so due to their unequal lengths, they also vibrate, but they vibrate with the less amplitude. So very important question. Which type of vibration will take place in the pendulum B here? So that is resonant vibration. So why? Because due to the equal length of these two pendulums, energy is sharing, and due to that reason, the pendulum B started to vibrate under resonance. And what the vibration will take place in pendulum C and D? So that is what? Forced vibration. So this is how the resonance will take place in a pendulum. And the third one is about the resonance in air column. Resonance in air column. So first to do this experiment, we have to take one cylindrical tube. So it is fixed to the vertical stand, and we need one cylindrical vessel. So this is cylindrical vessel B and this is cylindrical tube A. And the cylindrical vessel B can be moved up or down. So it can be clamped at any desired position. So the lower end of these two tube and vessel is connected with the help of a rubber tube. So these two are filled with these two tube and vessel are partially filled with water. So now the vessel B acts as a reservoir because it stores the water in it, and the tube A acts as one end close the pipe. So how it acts as one end closed pipe? So here we know it already consists of water surface. So this water surface acts as closed end, and the mouth of that tube is considered as open end. So here in between its open end and the closed end, that is the surface of water, an air column is formed. An air column is formed between the open end of the tube and the closed end of the tube. So here we can change the level of water in the tube A by moving the vessel up or down. So by moving the vessel up or down, we can change the level of water in the tube A. So as the level of water in the tube A changes, the length of the air column in the tube A is also changes. So by changing the length of air column, we can these air columns are vibrating under resonance. So now let us see how the resonance will take place in this air column. So first take one tuning fork and struck on the surface of the rubber pad and hold very close to the mouth of the cylindrical tube A. So now whenever you hold the vibrating tuning fork very close to the mouth of tube A, so this vibrating tuning fork causes forced vibration in the air column of that tube A. So by changing the level of water in the tube A, so again we change the level of water here by moving the vessel up or down. So when we decrease the level of water in the tube A, what happens at the time? What will happen to the length of air column? So its length is obviously increases. So as the level of water in the tube A is decreases, the length of air column is increases. So at a certain level of water, the air column, its frequency is exactly becomes equal to the frequency of the tuning fork. Then at that time, when the frequency of air column becomes equal to the frequency of a tuning fork, then they started to vibrate with a larger amplitude under the resonance. Then again, if you further decrease the level of water, then at a certain stage where the length of air column becomes 3 times than the previous one, again the frequency of air column becomes exactly equal to the frequency of the vibrating tuning fork. Again these air columns started to vibrate under resonance and they produces very louder sound. So this is how the resonance will take place in case of air column. So these are the three simple and very interesting experiments to understand the resonance. So next we'll go for the next topic, the examples which shows how the resonance will take place in our surrounding. So first one, the resonance in tuning fork. So as I told you already in the first experiment, so when you have taken two tuning forks of same frequency, when they kept on a respective sound boxes, when one tuning fork is made to vibrate, the other tuning fork is also started to vibrate under the resonance. So that is the first example. And the second example is about the sound boxes in a stringed instrument. So you know already the stringed instruments, they are provided with a different strings under different thickness, and they also provided an empty space, hollow space which contains air in it. So whenever any string of that instrument is disturbed, then the frequency of the air column which is present in that hollow space is exactly becomes equals to the frequency of that string. Then the air column which is present in that hollow surface, that is started to vibrate with a larger amplitude. When it is vibrating with a larger amplitude, obviously it produces very loud sound. So this is how we can get very louder sound in case of the stringed instrument in that what is that, an hollow space is provided. And third one, when the vehicle is moving, so we may observe that at certain speed of the vehicle you may hear the rattling sound. So when the rattling sound is heard only at a certain speed. So whenever the parts or the piston of that engine of the vehicle, when it is under vibration, so actually when it is under vibration, it vibrates with its natural frequency. So at a certain speed, the other parts of the vehicle is also started to vibrate with the frequency of the piston. So when the frequency of other parts of the vehicle is exactly becomes equal to the frequency of the piston, then they started to vibrate with a larger amplitude and a very loud sound is produced, that is called as rattling sound. So here, if that part which is under in resonance with this piston, if that part is not tightly fixed, then it may have chances to drop out from that vehicle. So to stop this, what we have to do? We have to change the speed of a vehicle. So if you change the speed of a vehicle, then what happens? The frequency of the vibrating parts of the vehicle is not exactly becomes equal to the frequency of this piston. So then we can avoid the dropping out of the parts of a vehicle. So this is how the resonance will take place in a moving vehicle. So and the third one, so fourth one. So when the troops in the sense, the group of soldiers, when they are crossing the suspension bridge, so when the troop are crossing the suspension bridge, so the head of that group is asked the troop to break their steps. So you may have already seen that when the soldiers are marching, then their all footsteps are in phase. Means their footsteps are reaching the ground at the same time. So when they are crossing the suspension bridge, if their foots are in phase, then that bridge is obviously vibrates with the frequency of their foots. Then it will start to vibrate with a larger amplitude due to the resonance. So then there is a chance of collapsing the bridge. So that's why the head of that troop is asked the troop to break their steps while crossing the suspension bridge.